Evelyn and I moved to this apartment for the summer. I know I'm only going to live here for a couple of months, but I still really want to make the space feel like mine. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I made simple, inexpensive and renter-friendly improvements to make this apartment cozy and airy and feel truly like home. My apartment is a 200 square feet studio. It comes with a small entryway, a bathroom followed by a sleeping/living space, and further down there's a small space for cooking and a laundry closet. I really like the layout of this apartment. Despite how small it is, it comes with everything you might need to live for just a few months. I like its tall ceiling, big windows, and although the windows face west, the lighting is pretty good throughout the day, and there's also plenty of storage space for a small apartment. Other than the ugly fabrics and the lack of counter space, I don't really see anything else in this apartment that urgently needs to be made over. So I planned out my design based on my functional needs. And my needs are really simple, just a cozy bed for sleeping, a convenient spot for baking, and a comfortable place to work. The first thing I tackled was the bed, because when we moved in there was no bed sheets and the mattress was really uncomfortable. So we got a mattress topper, a water resistant mattress protector, not to protect the mattress from us, but to protect us from the mattress because we don't know who has been using it or how it has been used. And for bed sheets, I would have gone with a different color, but this was the only one available when we moved in, so we had to go with this, what I would call moderately questionable, but we can work with it, color. I found a really inexpensive bedside lamp as a cozy accessory and a light source. To fill up the white wall, I hung up a poster that Dave found at an art market. After moving in for a while, we found ourselves to constantly be entangled in cables because we have half a dozen different chargers hanging from the headboard/nightstand. So I found this rattan basket and managed to stuff all the cables inside. The kitchen has the most room for improvement. At this stage, it's just a sink and a small counter, and I needed to add everything else so I can bake here. For counter space, I bought the shittiest quality table available on the internet, thinking I'd get rid of it when I move out.
That's quite a small table. Yeah.
50 by 80.
You didn't measure, did you?
No.
You got a measuring tape, but you didn't measure. Do we have anything heavy? There we go.
Oh, there we go. Snap!
Snap.
So satisfying. In retrospect, I should have thrifted one because this is creating so much waste. But ironically, getting a second-hand table would have been much more expensive than getting a new one, and this is how consumerism is destroying the earth.
When you don't have a hammer, what do? Not go and buy one on top. That's not good.
I also assembled a shelf to add storage under the table and moved a cube storage unit from the desk side of the room to the kitchen so the oven doesn't take up any precious counter space. There's a shelf under the TV that I've started to use as a pantry, but it adds a lot of clutter, which makes a small space look even more crammed. So I got this beige curtain to cover it up. I went with a simple linen texture with no pattern, so it goes well with the rest of the apartment's color scheme. I like to have some flowers and plants around the apartment, and because the window is super tall, I decided to make a disco ball planter and let it hang from the top of the window. For whatever reason, I did not watch the tutorial for how to make this and decided to base the entire design on a single photo I've seen on Instagram, and pure faith in that the disco ball would be hollow so I wouldn't have to carve out the styrofoam inside. So let's see if this actually works out. The ball is hollow. This is probably gonna fit the planter in, so I'm gonna try and carve this out. I'm gonna need my big knife for that. Kinda like cutting a watermelon. It's done! Oh my gosh. This is the scalp of the disco ball and it looks kind of like a coconut. Next up, I'm making a plant hanger. So I got transparent fishing line. We'll take 4 1.5 yard pieces and fold them in the middle. Tie a knot about 1 inch from the fold so there's a small loop at the top and attach the loop to a hook or secure it with a piece of tape.
Next, separate the lines into groups of 2 and just tie a knot about 1.5 feet from the first knot for each of the 4 groups of 2. Then, to create the netted effect that holds the planter, you want to take one string from a knot and then tie it together with a string from another knot. Repeat 3 times and close the loop by tying the first string from the first knot with the last string from the last knot together. Lastly, tie a knot with all the strings together and trim off the end.
Okay, now this is working.
We're gonna do the stress test. Oh dear Lord, be careful.
Unlike Dave, I am incapable of working in bed. I get distracted, I get tired. The only thing I don't get is productive, so I need to work at the desk, which looked very humble at the beginning, but by all means fulfills its purpose. I added another poster because as a feature of the tall ceiling, there's a lot of blank space on the wall. I used masking tape to secure it because this wall is really flimsy and command tape would have definitely torn off the paint. I've also swapped out the curtain over the closet next to the desk for this light, airy, and translucent one because lighter colors make small spaces seem bigger and more open. That's basically it for the makeover. Let me show you how everything comes together on an apartment tour.
Hello, Architecture Digest.
Hello.
Welcome to my apartment.
The entryway is where I dump stuff off of my hand when I enter the apartment and grab stuff when I leave. So I have these baskets to keep things organized, a grocery bag, a helmet so Dave feels more reassured about my bike safety, but let's be honest, I've only worn it twice, and a mirror because the entryway is very small and crammed, and the mirror creates an illusion that the space is bigger and more open than it actually is.
Moving on, we have the bathroom, which is my least favorite part of the apartment, so we're gonna go over this part really quickly.
Because we're only going to be in this apartment for a couple of months, I didn't want to splurge and make everything perfect. So since my top 3 priorities are the bed, the desk, and the kitchen area, I decided to do the bare minimum for the bathroom because I'm not gonna get much out of it. I think an important part of a makeover that's often ignored is deciding what not to make over, especially when you have limited resources. I would have loved to welcome you to my bedroom, but this entire apartment is just one room, so
This is our bed.
by now the poster I've put up has already peeled off because masking tape doesn't hold up well against the humidity in Guangzhou. But over time I have gathered a lot of cute gadgets around the nightstand, and it kind of feels like a treasure chest full of my favorite things.
I've always wanted to kind of open this thing up, but I guess, it's not openable.
No, I tried.
Oh, wait!
What?
What?
Oh, damn. That's actually really handy.
We had this fan shipped from Beijing because it gets ridiculously hot in this apartment, and utilities turns out is 3 times as expensive as it is in our Beijing apartment because this property is commercial. As a result, we can't afford to keep the air conditioner on all the time, hence the fan.
By the way, this is the desk area. The poster is also nowhere to be found.
I got this light bulb thingy that is rechargeable.
Pretending to work so you see what it's like to work at this desk.
That air conditioner, on the rare occasions that it is on, makes this area and just this area super cold. Also, this apartment has always had really shit internet, so I ended up not actually using this desk a lot because I've had to just go to coffee shops to work.
The kitchen is my favorite part of this apartment.
I like how the view from this window is always so great. This disco ball, you can see it from that bridge. I was in a taxi like right around there, and this is what I saw. And that was one of the moments that made me feel like this is my home. I got these at a flower market last weekend. You guys have seen me cook at this counter. This actually turned out being the perfect amount of space for baking and cooking. I organized all of my baking ingredients in these little glass jars. Sometimes having bags of different ingredients make the kitchen look very cluttered, so I always try to put everything in containers. Here, very nicely hidden under the curtain.
Our ingredients I couldn't fit in the jars.
I'm very proud of this plant because even though I love plants, I'm not particularly good at keeping them alive. So back in Beijing, I would have to swap out my plants every month or so because they just kept dying. I've had this one for 2 months now and I've taken very little care of it, but it seems to be thriving on its own. Look at the robust root system. I also got this little pool, handy but not super sturdy push cart thing.
I also used the space under the extra table I added for storage. To save counter space, I keep this dish rack under the table when I don't use it and only take it out when I have dishes to dry.
Today is our last day living in this apartment. After filming this video, we're gonna pack up and move back to Beijing. I've seen some of your comments on my previous videos that you're looking forward to seeing me settle down and finally build a life in one place. I'm looking forward to that too. But I also feel like there's something special and touching about leaving a little piece of yourself at all the places you've lived and having those places leave a mark on you. That's how I'm feeling about this apartment now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in Beijing.